The spotlight has always shined on Yandy Smith-Harris and Mendeecees, a couple once hailed as the heartbeat of love and hip-hop Atlanta. But behind the glamour, whispers of betrayal began to swirl until one shocking night shattered everything. Fans watched in disbelief as Mendeecees, the man once seen as Yandy's rock, lashed out in the most devastating way. His voice filled with rage cut deeper than any blade. Accusations of lies, secrets, and betrayal spilled into the open, shaking their picture-perfect marriage to its core. The man fans believed could never falter was suddenly the villain in a story darker than anyone imagined. And as tears streamed down Yandy's face, one question echoed across Atlanta. What truth is Mendeecees hiding? This isn't just a fight. It's a betrayal that threatens to destroy everything they built. Tonight, the masks are off, and the dark truth finally comes to light. For years, Yandy Smith-Harris and Mendeecees stood as one of love and hip-hop, Atlanta's most admired couples. Their story was painted as unshakable. The wife who held down her man through the hardest storms. The husband who promised loyalty no matter what. Fans believed in them. They weren't just reality stars. They were an example of love surviving against all odds. But behind that picture-perfect image, shadows were growing darker, secrets were festering, and the cracks were spreading wider than anyone realized. The breaking point came on a night that should have been filled with celebration. Yandy, glowing with pride, had just achieved another milestone in her career. Friends and family gathered around a table to toast her success. The air was supposed to be light, filled with laughter and music. Instead, it was thick with unspoken tension. Mendeecees sat there, silent, detached, eyes fixed on his phone, while Yandy graciously thanked everyone for their support. She noticed it immediately, the absence of his smile, the absence of his usual charm. He wasn't in the moment. He wasn't by her side. Instead, he was miles away, lost in something he wouldn't share. "You okay, babe?" Yandy whispered, trying to pull him back into the warmth of the evening. But instead of reassurance, she was met with ice. "I'm fine," he muttered without looking up. Those two words cut deeper than Yandy wanted to admit. The room carried on, glasses clinking, small talk flowing, but inside she knew something was off. The man who had been her anchor now felt like a stranger. And then, out of nowhere, the silence shattered. Mendeecees slammed his glass onto the table so hard the sound echoed through the room. Conversations died mid-sentence. Guests froze wide-eyed as he pushed his chair back with a screech. "I'm tired, Yandy," he roared, his voice trembling with fury. "I'm tired of pretending like everything is perfect when it's not." The room fell into stunned silence. Yandy's smile crumbled. Her hands trembled as she asked, barely above a whisper, "What are you talking about?" Mendeecees' eyes burned with something darker than anger. His words spilled out like poison. "You think this is just about you, your business, your spotlight, your success. But what about me, Yandy? What about what I've been dealing with? What about the lies?" The word lies sliced through the room like a knife. Guests shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Family members exchanged panicked glances. Everyone could feel it. This wasn't just a marital spat. This was a volcano erupting. What lies? Yandy demanded, her voice breaking, tears brimming in her eyes. Mendeecees stood abruptly, knocking his chair to the ground. "Don't act like you don't know. You think I haven't seen the messages? Heard the whispers? You think I'm blind?" Yandy's face twisted with confusion. She shook her head, pleading for clarity. "What? Whispers? What messages? You're not making sense." But Mendeecees wasn't listening. His anger consumed him. He stormed toward the door, throwing accusations like daggers. "You've been playing me for a fool, Yandy, hiding things. Sneaking around. I've lived with this pain for months. And you've been too busy pretending everything's fine." With that, he slammed a door behind him, leaving Yandy standing in the wreckage of what used to be their perfect image. The guests sat in stunned silence. Some whispered nervously, did he just accuse her of cheating? Yandy, tears streaming down her face, could barely form words. "I don't know," she whispered back to a close friend. I don't even know what he's talking about. The dinner had turned into a battlefield. And Yandy's world had cracked open. In the days that followed, rumors spread like wildfire. Fans speculated wildly. Some insisted Mendeecees had proof, texts, calls, something undeniable. Others claimed he was projecting his own guilt. Social media ignited with hashtags. Hashtag Team Yandy, hashtag Team Mendeecees, and hashtag LHHA scandal. But behind the chaos, Yandy's heart was breaking. She called him repeatedly. She texted him, begged him to talk. His silence was louder than his accusations. For the first time in years, she couldn't read him. She couldn't reach him, and as she sat alone replaying the night in her head, one haunting question refused to let her go. What exactly did Mendeecees see? And was there truth behind his shocking attack? The fallout from that explosive dinner didn't just end at the slammed door. It spread like wildfire, igniting gossip circles, social media feeds, and even splitting the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast into sides. Fans had seen plenty of fights before, but nothing like this. This wasn't staged shade. This was raw, unfiltered chaos that cut deeper than anything reality TV cameras had ever caught. By the very next morning, the streets of Atlanta were buzzing. Word spread faster than Yandy could wipe her tears. Mendeecees hadn't just stormed out in anger, he'd left her with more than accusations. He'd planted a seed of doubt, a suggestion that Yandy herself wasn't as loyal as she portrayed. And in the world of ATL gossip, once a rumor takes root, it grows into a monster. Gossip blogs were first to pounce. Headlines screamed, "Did Yandy betray Mendeecees?" And Love and Hip Hop power couple in shambles. Instagram blogs, famous for messy tea, claimed they'd received anonymous DMIs about texts and late-night calls Yandy was allegedly hiding. None of it was verified. But verification didn't matter anymore. The narrative was already spiraling. Fans began dissecting Yandy's posts, pointing to vague captions about self-love and peace as evidence she was guilty. Others defended her, insisting Mendeecees was projecting his own dirt onto her. The division was fierce. Hashtags like hashtag pray for Yandy trended alongside hashtag Mendeecees, right? Turning the couple's private battle into a public civil war. But the first real twist came when names started creeping into the conversation. Names that carried weight. Erica Dixon, already a magnet for a TL drama, was suddenly being whispered about. Screenshots circulated showing her liking shady comments under gossip posts about Yandy to fans. It looked like shade, maybe even confirmation that she knew something. Then Jasmine Washington's name surfaced. A messy fan account posted a cryptic tweet. "It ain't just Erica. Ask about Jasmine." The tweet went viral within hours, sparking speculation that Mendeecees' accusations weren't directed at a nameless ghost, but at women. Yandy already had a complicated history with Yandy. For her part, stayed silent. But insiders claimed she was unraveling behind the scenes. A close friend allegedly leaked that Yandy had been calling castmates, furious, demanding to know if they'd heard her name being dragged. The source claimed Yandy sobbed over the phone, repeating, "Why is he doing this to me? Why is he lying on me?" Meanwhile, Mendeecees kept at. But here's the first big twist. Yandy wasn't silent because she was guilty. She was silent because she was scared. Insiders claimed she'd discovered something shocking, that the proof Mendeecees claimed to have wasn't just about her. It involved him, too. One source hinted that Yandy had stumbled onto evidence that Mendeecees was hiding a darker truth. Something tied to his past relationships, something he didn't want exposed. And by flipping the script, by accusing her so loudly, he was trying to protect himself. This revelation changed everything. Was Mendeecees really the victim? Or was he playing the ultimate manipulation game? The days after Mendeecees' public outburst were a haze of silence, suspicion, and whispers. Yandy tried desperately to piece together what he had meant by the messages and the whispers. But no matter how many times she replayed the dinner confrontation in her mind, nothing added up. If she had done nothing wrong, Why would he accuse her with such conviction? And if he truly had proof, why hadn't he shown it? That's when Yandy started digging. At first, she went through her own phone, rereading every message, every call log, trying to see what he could have twisted. Nothing stood out. But then she remembered the way his phone had buzzed at the dinner table, the way his eyes lingered on it instead of her. A creeping suspicion took root. What if he wasn't angry about her betrayal at all? What if he was deflecting from his own? An insider source later claimed that Yandy confronted one of Mendeecees' closest friends, pressing for answers. The friend allegedly broke down, whispering, "He's hiding something. Yandy, he's been meeting someone, I don't know who." But it's not what he told you. That single line sent chills down her spine. And then came the receipts. A notorious Atlanta gossip blog dropped bombshell screenshots, alleged hotel confirmations under Mendeecees' name, along with late-night texts to an unnamed woman. The texts were short, coded, but damning. Same spot as last time. She'll never find out. The internet erupted. For weeks, fans had been tearing Yandy apart. Now, the spotlight shifted. Was Mendeecees the real betrayer all along? The comments were ruthless, so he screamed on Yandy to cover his OWN dirt. Classic deflection. He gaslit her on live in front of family just to hide his skeletons. This man might be worse than Kirk Frost. Yandy's silence now made sense. She wasn't guilty. She was holding her breath, waiting for the truth to crawl into the light. But the revelation didn't stop there. As the hotel receipts made their rounds, another leak surfaced. An audio recording allegedly of Mendeecees talking to a woman. His voice, low and hushed, could be heard saying, "She can't ever know about this. If Yandy finds out, it's over." The woman's voice wasn't clear, but fans instantly began speculating. Some swore it was Erica. Others claimed it sounded like Jasmine. The mystery only deepened, and the fandom split even harder. Meanwhile, Erica herself fanned the flames with a cryptic Instagram story. "Don't throw stones when your house is glass." She didn't tag anyone, but she didn't have to. Fans flooded her comments with fire emojis and accusations, demanding to know if she was the mystery woman. Jasmine stayed silent, which only made the rumors grow. Behind the scenes, Yandy was spiraling. Insiders whispered that she was preparing her own nuclear receipts, evidence that not only proved Mendeecees was lying, but that he had been hiding something even darker. According to one leak, Yandy had stumbled onto messages that hinted at a child Mendeecees had allegedly fathered before they were married. A child he had never told her about. The thought left her shattered. Had her husband been living a double life this entire time? Fans began piecing it together like detectives, analyzing old episodes, comparing timelines, even digging into public records. Some claimed they found connections to a woman in another city, one who'd been linked to Mendeecees years before. The theory gained traction fast, with blogs running headlines like "Secret Child," Mendeecees' darkest truth about to be exposed. And yet, Mendeecees remained stone silent. His refusal to deny anything made the storm worse. Every hour he stayed quiet. More fans abandoned him. Once hailed as the devoted husband who stood by Yandy, he was now being painted as a manipulator, an attacker, and a liar. But the most shocking reveal came from someone no one expected. A mysterious woman calling herself Lila. A new Twitter account, created just days earlier, posted, "I know the truth about Mendeecees. Yandy deserves better. Ask him about Raquel." The name Raquel sent the internet into a frenzy. Who was she? Was she the mother of the rumored child, or another secret lover? Within hours, Lila's account vanished, but the damage was done. The name Raquel was etched into the scandal, and fans demanded answers. This wasn't just about infidelity anymore. This was about a man hiding entire lives, secrets, and betrayals under the guise of loyalty. And the cruelest part, he had the audacity to attack Yandy, to accuse her publicly, all while burying his own sins. The whispers about Raquel didn't just stir the pot, they blew the lid off the entire scandal. Within hours of Lila's cryptic tweet, "Ask him about Raquel," Fan pages turned into detective agencies. Everyone wanted to know who was Raquel and what did she have to do with Mendeecees' sudden meltdown. Some fans scoured old photos, pulling up images of Mendeecees at past industry events, circling unfamiliar women in the background. Others dug through old cast blogs, convinced Raquel had been mentioned once in a throwaway rumor years ago. The mystery became obsession, and by the next morning, Raquel was trending across Atlanta gossip pages. Yandy, meanwhile, was unraveling. The name meant nothing to her at first. But when she pressed mutual friends, the reactions told her everything. People went quiet. People avoided eye contact. People changed the subject. The silence was confirmation. Raquel wasn't just a rumor. She was real. Then the receipts came. A messy blog dropped screenshots that appeared to show years old. Facebook messages between Mendeecees and a woman identified as Raquel. The messages were casual at first, but over time the tone shifted. "I miss our talks. Wish things were different. You know, you'll always be part of me." But the bombshell wasn't the flirtation. It was the photograph attached to one of the messages, a little boy. A little boy with Mendeecees' unmistakable eyes. The internet erupted. Fans lost their minds. Blogs declared, "Secret child confirmed," for years. Yandy had stood by Mendeecees as the devoted father, the loyal husband, the family man. Now, a secret child threatened to shatter that entire image. Yandy's heart broke all over again. She'd always known their marriage wasn't perfect, but she never expected something like this. According to insiders, Yandy confronted him directly, screaming through tears. "Why didn't you tell me? How could you hide a child from me?" Mendeecees allegedly broke down, begging her to understand, but his excuses only dug the wound deeper. And then came the shocking twist. Raquel herself spoke. A brand new Instagram account, claiming to be her, posted a long emotional caption under a photo of a young boy. "I never wanted to be part of this mess. I protected my son for years because Mendeecees refused to acknowledge him, but I can't stay silent anymore. The truth is, he's been living a double life. And Yandy, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. But you deserve to know the man you married." The post detonated across social media. Screenshots spread instantly. Blogs picked it up, fans debated whether it was really Raquel or just another fake account. But the damage was already done. The seed of doubt had become undeniable truth. The cast weighed in too. Rasheeda posted a prayer hands emoji on Twitter, refusing to comment further. Carly Red went live, sipping wine, muttering, "Chilly. I knew it. I always knew it." Spice chimed in with, "Secrets, Saya hide forever. It always come to light. Every word." Every reaction added fuel to the inferno. But the darkest reveal was yet to come. Another anonymous source dropped a voice note allegedly of Mendeecees and Raquel arguing. In the audio, a woman's voice, furious, emotionally shouted, "You think you can hide him forever? Here's your blood." And Mendeecees' voice, low and tense, responded, "I told you, if this gets out, it ruins everything. Don't ruin me." The audio spread like wildfire. Fans were horrified. This wasn't just betrayal, it was neglect, abandonment, an entire hidden family. Yandy, once painted as the loyal queen of the franchise, was now cast as the betrayed wife of a man leading a double life. And Erica? She couldn't resist twisting the knife. She posted another cryptic story. "Told y'all it wasn't me. No names, no tags." But the implication was clear. She was distancing herself, letting Raquel take the spotlight and fanning the chaos from the sidelines. Yandy's pain, though, wasn't just about the betrayal. It was when Raquel dropped her bombshell, the Instagram post with her son's picture, and her claim that Mendeecees had been living a double life. The entire internet erupted like never before. Overnight, what had started as a heated dinner blow-up turned into a nationwide scandal. Fans, bloggers, celebrities, and even industry insiders were locked into every update, waiting to see what would happen next. The hashtags told the story. Hashtag Raquel Bombshell, hashtag Yandy why betrayed, and hashtag secret child dominated Twitter and TikTok. Videos of Raquel's post were stitched into endless reaction clips, people gasping, screaming, crying, or simply shaking their heads in disbelief. TikTok detectives lined up side-by-side photos of the little boy with Mendeecees, circling his eyes and jawline, claiming it was undeniable proof. One viral video showed a fan holding both pictures up to the camera with the caption, "Mona Scott couldn't even script this." The public was divided, though. Some fans rallied behind Yandy, posting messages like, "She held him down for years. She didn't deserve this." Others turned their fury on Mendeecees, calling him a manipulator who had gaslit his wife while hiding his own darkest secret. But a third group began to side with Raquel, praising her for finally speaking out after years of silence. "She protected her child while he lived a lie," one fan tweeted. "That takes strength." Celebrities quickly joined the conversation. Tamar Braxton went live saying, Let me tell you something. When you hide kids, that's the lowest of the low. I feel for Yandy." But this ain't just her problem anymore. This is about a whole child. 50 Cent mocked the situation with a meme, posting a picture of Maury Povich with the caption, "Mendeecees, you are the father." Fans laughed, but others felt the joke hit too close to home. Remy Ma, known for her loyalty to Yandy, broke her silence in a heartfelt tweet. "Sometimes the people you take a bullet for are the ones pulling the trigger. Stay strong, sis." Even other love and hip-hop stars couldn't resist. Carly Reed doubled down, posting, "Told y'all years ago, something wasn't right." Nobody listens to Carly, but Carly always knows. Rasheeda, ever more cautious, posted only a prayer hands emoji. But fans accused her of silently siding with Yandy. Spice went live with a scathing comment. "It always the men pointing finger. But dem guilty more than we. Yandy don't deserve that." The industry, too, felt the aftershocks. Mona Scott Young, the mastermind behind the franchise, was allegedly scrambling behind the scenes. According to leaks, she called an emergency production meeting the same night Raquel's post went viral. One insider claimed Mona told her team, "If this video Raquel hinted at really exists, we need it. Exclusive. Otherwise, we lose control of this story." Another leak alleged that Mona had already reached out to Raquel directly, offering her a massive check to bring the receipts to the next reunion special. VH1 and BT. Executives were reportedly split. Some executives wanted to lean into the chaos, calling it ratings gold, while others were panicking about the legal tea. Implications of broadcasting a story involving a hidden child. One insider claimed a network lawyer warned, if Raquel has proof Mendeecees neglected his responsibilities, airing it could open a liability nightmare. Meanwhile, social media creators capitalized on the chaos. YouTube was flooded with breakdowns of the scandal, each promising the full truth about Mendeecees' secret child. TikTokers reenacted the dinner fight, acting out Mendeecees' accusations and Yandy's tears for millions of views. Twitter threads dissected every detail of Raquel's Instagram caption, turning the drama into an interactive investigation. The fans' obsession grew darker when rumors surfaced that Raquel's child wasn't the only one. Anonymous accounts began claiming that Mendeecees had been linked to another woman, one outside of Atlanta, long before he and Yandy tied the knot. Nothing was confirmed, but the speculation alone pushed the scandal into new territory. Was Raquel the whole truth, or just the beginning? Yandy's silence became its own headline. Fans begged her to speak out, posting comments like, "Sis, don't let him silence you. Tell your truth." Others feared she was too broken to respond. Insiders, however, leaked that Yandy was preparing a controlled response, not an Instagram rant, but something bigger. A sit-down interview, perhaps even a documentary-style reveal where she would tell her side, backed by her own receipts. And then there was Mendeecees. His social media remained nearly blank, except for one cryptic post, a black screen with the words, "You don't know the half of it." Fans roasted him in the comments, demanding answers. Others speculated he was preparing to drop his own bombshell. But with Raquel's warning, it's bigger than a child hanging over everything. No one knew what to believe anymore. The mess was now international. UK gossip outlets, Caribbean radio stations, even Hollywood tabloids picked up the story. For many outside the love and hip-hop bubble, it was their first introduction to Yandy and Mendeecees, and what an introduction it was. Instead of the power couple image, they were met with accusations of hidden children, betrayal, and explosive confrontations. Industry insiders whispered that sponsors were nervous. A skincare brand that had partnered with Yandy reportedly paused their campaign, waiting to see how the scandal unfolded. Meanwhile, fans speculated that Mona Scott might spin the chaos into a new storyline that could revive the entire franchise. But in the middle of all this noise, the biggest question remained unanswered. What exactly was Raquel hinting at when she said, "It's big"? Fans demanded answers. Producers scrambled. Mona Scott Young allegedly offered Raquel and Jasmine contracts on the spot, desperate to lock in the chaos for the next season. VH1 executives worried about lawsuits, and the fans. They wanted blood, and that's where things stand. Chaos, betrayal, and revelations that feel too wild to even be scripted. Yandy's tears, Mendeecees' cryptic silence, Raquel's shocking claims, and the leaked video that turned Atlanta upside down. It's a storm with no end in sight. But the biggest question still hangs heavy in the air. What truth is left to uncover? Is there another family, another secret, or another betrayal waiting to explode? One thing's for sure, when the next piece drops, it won't just change Yandy and Mendeecees' marriage. It could shake the entire love and hip-hop empire to its core. So tell me, do you believe Raquel? Is Mendeecees hiding a second wife? Or is this all one big smear campaign? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next twist, because this scandal is far from over.